Okay, so we're using double and half angle formulas. The idea is we're given an angle. So let's say I'm given the angle of 30 degrees. And because I know the original angles ratios, like, 1/2 root 3 over 2 and 1, I can use these ratios to figure out the double angle of 30. So, 30 degrees times 2, which is 60 degrees. So we'll be able to figure out our x and our y and our r. So again, we're using like a smaller angle to double the angles to find the ratios. Okay, so here are the formulas. We have 2 sine theta. Cosine 2 theta is equal to cosine squared theta minus sine squared theta, or it's equal to 2 minus cosine squared theta minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine squared theta. Tangent has one formula. So when you use the cosine 2 theta, you get to choose. Okay, so I got an angle here. It's in the first quadrant, and it gives me all the side lengths. I want to double the angle to find the trig ratios, the new trig ratios. So if I double this angle, I think it's going to end up somewhere in the second quadrant. So the sine will be positive, the cosine will be negative, and the radius will be positive. Okay, so first off, let's figure out what the ratios are for our original angle here. Original. Okay, so sine is 12 over 13. We have 5 over 13 for cosine, and tangent is 12 over 5. We need these original angles. This is from the original triangle. To figure out the new triangles ratios. Okay, so sine 2 theta is equal to 2 sine theta cosine theta. So see, we're using the original angle, the ratios from the original. Okay, so 2 times 12 over 13 times 5 over 13 gives me 120 over 169, and that's equal to sine of the double angle. So that's the sine ratio for the double angle. Okay, cosine 2 theta, I'm going to use the first formula, but you can use either one of those, okay, or any one of those. So cosine 2 theta is equal to, cosine is 5 over 13 squared minus sine theta squared. Okay, so the cosine of 2 theta is equal to 25 over 169 minus 144 over 169 is equal to negative 119 over 169. And this ratio is equal to the y. Okay? Sorry, the x length. All right, so the tangent of 2 theta. So 2 tangent of the original ratio minus 1 times tangent squared of the original ratio. Okay, so I get 2, the tangent is 12 over 5 all over 1 minus 12 over 5 squared. So let's simplify. 24 over 5, let's put that over 1, times over 1 minus 144 over 25. Let's get a common denominator. This would be 25 over 25. So I get 24 over 5 all over negative 119 over 25. We're going to multiply by the reciprocal. 19. Okay, and those cancel. And we're going to reduce to negative 120 over 119. So that's our tangent ratio, equals the tangent of 2 theta. Okay. All right, so double angles. Not so bad, huh? Okay, so sometimes where we use this is really to solve equations, okay? So I need to get, this equation is POE because I have more than one trig ratio represented here. So it's going to be very difficult for me to solve. So how can I rewrite this sine of 2x? Well, I can use my double angle formulas. So let's rewrite this. What is sine? The sine of 2x is equal to 2 times the sine of x times the cosine of x. Okay, so I'm going to replace that here. So 2 times the sine of x cosine x equals 0. All right, and now this is better even though I have more than one trig function because I can see that I have a greatest common factor. So I'm going to factor that out, the cosine of x, and I'm also going to actually factor out the 2. Okay, so times 1 plus the sine of x is equal to 0. Now I have 2 factors here, 1, 2, so 2 pieces being multiplied together. So we can zero product property this. So 2 cosine of x is equal to 0, and 1 plus the sine of x is equal to 0. Okay, I'm going to start on the, so sine of x is equal to negative 1, and the cosine of x is equal to negative 2. Just kidding. The cosine of x, I'm going to divide by 2, is equal to 0. Okay, so when is sine of x equal to negative 1? So sine inverse of negative 1 is equal to x, which is an angle. Okay, so when x is equal to negative 1, since on the unit circle, sine is the vertical at negative 1, so that would be, this is wrong, sorry, the angle is 3 pi over 2. So when x is equal to 3 pi over 2, when is cosine equal to 0? So that is when x is, so it's a horizontal here and here. So what x was pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2. And then after that, I'm going to get out of the first full rotation. So my final answer is when x is equal to pi over 2 and 3 pi over 2, since I have a repeat here and here. Okay, and that is it for double angles.